Bitte.
Hi, I am Corinna Glaus, casting director from Switzerland, and I'm based in Zurich. Thinking back how I became a casting director leads me to the early 90s. After I worked several years in different theatre companies as a director's assistant and as a director, I switched to film, where I continued as a director's assistant. In these years in Switzerland, there was no professional casting. The casting was made by the directors themselves, their producers, maybe an assistant director, or just anybody. So Switzerland at that time was also a special case, as we have a very big diversity in languages. It's not only German, it's French, Italian, and the German part is sort of Swiss German. So it was obvious that also filmmaking became a special case, and it was important that somebody who had a big knowledge of Swiss actors would really help and do a professional casting with the Swiss actors. As acting and the art of acting was always my focus and my passion, I just realized the need of professional casting in Switzerland, and I started about 1995. About 2 years later, I founded my own company. The film industry, of course, was happy that finally someone did occupy, take this work and occupation of professional casting, but it was quite hard to convince the industry that this is real professional work and it's not just help from a friend. Sometimes it is still nowadays the same situation, that they just ask me helping out and wonder that I try to make a living out of it. It was somehow for me, as this was my big passion, the actors, I just took it for granted that also the directors, the filmmakers would have the same curiosity, the same need of getting to know actors, to work with actors, and of going on this wonderful trip, creating a character for their film stories together with the art of acting. But I always realized that the process of casting, which I consider as a very creative part of realizing a film, seems to be also some sort of a minefield that very directors are, they like it, but they are also very anxious about it. They fear the traps and the obstacles to get over this minefield and finally find their perfect casting. So I consider it as sort of our main task as casting directors to encourage the directors and the producers to take also their time and to focus on this process, to really go deeper, to allow themselves, to allow myself to suggest them artists or performers that maybe are not just at the first sight. So this is of course often also a question of budget and of money, and it takes more time, but I always prefer also to invest my own time, even my own money, because when you start this way, I would like to go all the way through and not to just be happy with half the way. So it is still a challenge, and this is also something I like to take it with every project, the new challenge, and to find new ways and new opportunities to cast the film I'm working on. It was the Italian colleagues, the Italian casting directors, especially Beatrice Kruger, who initiated and who inspired us to initiate me and my two colleagues in Switzerland, Ruth Hirschfeld and Susanne Müller, to start a promotion project for young Swiss acting students. Most of the students, after having finished their studies, disappear in some theatre engagement, and they are no longer visible for the film industry. This is why we wanted to create this promotion project, this platform, to make them visible for the directors, for the film industry. And in fact, many of them did get a main role through this platform. They were also seen by very important agencies, and they had through this platform the possibility to start a career in film. Many of them were also awarded and became shooting stars, and of course after this wonderful international career, we could also cast them again as in a leading role in Swiss films. So this was a very successful project. I'm sorry to say that last year we had to finish it because it was a constant struggle to finance it, even though, as I said, it was quite successful, and the whole Swiss film industry did really like the benefit of it, but we will find another way to be in connection with these young acting students. I also happened to cast several films with children or young people, so non-professionals, as main protagonists. And casting non-professionals is of course the most challenging, the most demanding way of casting. And I consider it also as a sort of the most important form of casting. And I happily could accompany some of these young players. They became professional cast actors. They became also international actors on a level like maybe you also might have already casted, like Luna Wedler, Max Hubacher, Ella Rumpf, Sarah Spane, and others. Of course, this is one of the wonderful satisfaction of my profession. In 2006, I was awarded with the Swiss Film Prize for casting, which helped me, of course, a lot to be considered as a serious player in the business. Also the membership of the ICDN and of different academies like the Swiss Film Academy, European Film Academy, or the Academy of Motion Pictures and Arts, which helped us and also my colleagues in our daily business, because casting is like other professions in filmmaking, not a profession that you can learn in school and have a diploma. So it is very important that you always have a possibility to gain the trust of the directors and the producers you're working with. Our profession has changed in the last years, especially because of the internet, and it is, of course, a big help, as we have now access to actors all over the world, and this gives us very wonderful possibilities for our work. But on the other hand, this unlimited possibilities is also a danger that casting becomes sort of random. It's not only these big possibilities that might make casting sort of superficial, it's also the constant pressure of time. So I think in some way the heart of our profession of a casting director remains more or less the same as 30 years ago. It's the aim is always to keep the process of casting a creative process. So this is my motor of my work and my understanding of my work, and it keeps it challenging and interesting.